Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to be making a sympathy card. Now I have chosen several papers, some of which just came from my scrap stash, and then some of them I don't know the names of because they were in packets that I bought long ago. I am using from this Cypress by the paper company. I am going to be using kind of a flesh colored cardstock for that one. I'm also going to be using, this is just a piece of it, a piece of paper that I had in my stash from K & Company. I'm not sure which stack this came out of, but it's from one of the stacks, but I just thought the colors were pretty. And it's one that I had already cut up, so I'm not sure which stack that came from. I'm also going to be using this set of stamps from K. Andrew Design. This is a sympathetic saying stamp, and it has several stamps that you could use for different sympathy cards. And I'm actually using two of the phrases from this. It says, God sees your sorrow, He is with you. And then I'm also going to be using with deepest sympathy. So let's get started on this card. Now to start with, I have this kind of wine mulberry colored paper, and that's going to be my base paper. And I've cut that, it was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I cut that at 5.5 inches, and then I'm going to fold it down the middle here, so that will give us an 8.5 by, a 4.25 inch wide card by a 5.5 inch tall card. And so that's going to be our base. Now using that pretty paper from the K & Company, I cut another piece, and that's going to sit right here, and I'm actually going to turn this particular card this way. It's going to open up on the side like this. And so that's going to be the base of our card. But before I adhere that down, there's a couple of things I want to do. First of all, I want to take my crocodile here, or my corner chomper, and let's see, I think I'm going to use, let's see, let me just look at the corners here. I think I'm going to use the 3/8 inch side, and I want to round my corners just to give it a little extra interest. And I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. Now I like this paper, it's kind of faded a little bit on the top, but I just think that adds a little bit of extra. That's just the way it's designed to go. And that's going to go right on the top here. I think once I get it all put together, I'll probably also corner around these bottom corners. And I don't want to adhere that quite yet. Now this is actually a piece that I have cut to go on the inside. And if you notice, I've cut it smaller. I believe I cut that at, I think I cut that one at about 3 3/4 by maybe 5, so I have a little bit larger margin, but that's going to go on the inside. And what I would like to do with that is I'm using the Distress ink in Fired Brick, and so I am going to distress the edges of that because that's going to be my main ink color, and I just want that to just kind of blend a little bit, and so that's why I'm choosing to distress that. Now the other thing I use for this card, and I'll show it to you in just a second, is I use my Elegant Edges Cricut cartridge. And on page 29, you have this little leaf border. This is the bottom piece that you get with the shift feature, and then this is the top piece that fits over it, so that all that's showing through is your mulberry, kind of your wine color. So I also want to distress this just lightly. And this is also the color of ink I'm going to be using for the front of my card. So I'll set that aside. And the next thing I'm going to do then is I'm going to do the inside of my card. And I have chosen 2 different stamps from that stamp set. Now This is something that I have not done until just tonight. This is the first time I've ever tried this. I was watching Mary on Cards TV, and she mentioned how she likes to use a stamp pad, a mouse pad to stamp on. And so I thought I would try it, and actually, at least with this particular set of stamps, I like the way it turned out. It just seemed to be just a bit cleaner, just having that extra cushion. So this is the one that says "With Deepest Sympathy," and I wanted that to be on the inside. I'm not going to center it, however. I want it to kind of be down on the corner because I want to have plenty of room to write my message. Now, if you notice, I messed that up. Not a problem. We're just going to roll it over, turn it over, and use the other side, because that's what we can do when we're making our own. And I need to be more careful that I don't rock that stamp like that next time I use it. So let's just go for that again. So I'm just going to ink my stamp back up and then make sure that I don't have ink on my stamp this time, and center that there. And that's the beauty of a homemade card. If something goes wrong on one side, you can just turn it over and do it on the side that nobody will see. So this says "With Deepest Sympathy." These stamps from Crystal just stamp so beautifully, and I'm really happy with this set. I've not used this set a lot, but it is one that I really like, and I thought it was perfect for when you need sympathy cards. When my card club meets, we're starting a new cycle with my card club, and one of the months in this next 6-month cycle, we're going to be making sympathy cards. I just feel like it's a set of cards that I always need to have on hand, because sometimes when somebody needs a sympathy card, you may not have time to make one, so it's good to have some on hand. So this says "Just very simply, with deepest sympathy," and that's the inside of our card, and we're done there. And then that enables me to be able to write on that, whereas with the dark I would have had to use a white pen or something to make it be seen. Now for this piece, the reason I have not adhered this down yet is because I want to add some ribbon. And let's go ahead and, before we do that, let's go ahead and stamp our saying for the outside of this, so that at the end we can just, it can go together quickly. The phrase I'm using on this one is "God sees your sorrow, He is with you." Now, when I cut my frame from Elegant Edges, I cut it at 3 inches, and that was about the perfect size for this stamp. It just, I can center it easily there and put it there. And I actually rock that so much. Maybe I don't like the stamp pad. Something I'll play with and try. Let's redo the other side of that. Now I know I turned it over, so we'll have to match it up correctly and turn it over on the other side. That won't really matter. When I'm on camera, I tend to rock my stamps more than I normally would, because I'm not over them as much as I am when I'm not on camera. So now I need to go ahead and ink around the edges of that. I chose the fired brick. The fired brick and the festive berries have surprised me. Sorry, I got off camera there. Have surprised me with between the difference of their color. For some reason in my mind, I expected the fired brick Distress Ink to be really red, and it's actually more of a subtle kind of a wine color to its background as well. And so I've used that more than I expected to, where I expected the berries to be more of your wine colored, and they just aren't. So that's how that's going to go, and very simple to adhere those together. Now I can't really put adhesive on the top because that's where our design is, and so I'm just going to get as close to the design as I can, and then we'll line that up. I'm gonna actually, if this goes off camera, pardon me, but I can see it better at this angle. There we go. Okay, So there's that side. And that is going to just go right here, just like that. And the next step is, I have this ribbon from 3 Girl Jam. If you haven't checked out 3 Girl Jam, check them out on the website. She hand dyes this ribbon, and it's all crinkled and wrinkled. Now, I could iron it if I wanted to. I hardly iron my clothes, much less my ribbon. But, you know, if I wanted a really good, straight, nice piece of ribbon, I could. But it just depends on what I'm making. And for this particular card, I don't want it to be, I'm fine if it's kind of crinkled and kind of a little more rugged looking. I just think it's pretty. So, and I probably was a little bit too generous with this piece, because I've discovered that I like this ribbon so much. I am thinking I will go through it more quickly than I would care. Now I'm just tying it into a bow, and I have noticed that sometimes the bows, you kind of lose a little bit of the fact that it's a bow with this ribbon, just because it is so wrinkly, and I'm really okay with that. I just like the ribbon. So I'm going to just kind of trim it off here, and that's why I didn't adhere that piece down before, and now I can. I'll just grab my ATG and put some adhesive on the back, and I'll adhere that, making sure it's kind of straight from the back side, just like that, and that'll kind of hold it in place while I'm trying to get it onto the front of the card. And I could have tied the bow after I put it on the front of the card. I just wanted to be sure of my placement before I did that. And I'll just kind of center that there. This is a pretty simple card. I mean, it's mostly paper cuts and just a couple little stamps, and it's all done. And that's what I was going for here. I just wanted just a simple but yet pretty and thoughtful card, so that someone could know I was thinking about them and praying for them. And it just fits right just like that. So there's my sympathy card for today. Thanks for watching, and come back for more projects. Have a great day.